Good evening.
What's up? What's up?
Welcome to Massage Table Talk. Tonight we are talking about a topic that is very near and dear to me. It's what I do every day. It is what I love. And I have a guest here with me who shares the same vibe about recovery, massage, muscles, all that good stuff. But before we get into it, little housekeeping. If you have any questions, and please, this is the time for you to ask questions because you have two experts here who love what they're doing to help you out, to give you some feedback, to give you some recommendations. If you have any questions, please drop it in the comment section, whatever platform you are watching this on. We will do our best to address the questions live. If not, I will either, while we're live, if I have a minute, I will type a response back. But I look at all the comments when we end the live session, and I go back through all the comments as well. If you're posting a comment on my personal Facebook page, if this is what you're watching it through, for some reason, it doesn't, if I type a comment in here, you won't be able to see it on the Facebook page, but I will get back to you. And then I just want to kind of put a little teaser out there about next month. So next month live, next month is Love Month. And touch and relationships is very near and dear to my heart too. So all the lives for February, we'll be talking about the touch factor. And I have some very good guests as well. Coach Deanna and Coach Ben, if you watched the touch factor that I had in the beginning of January, they are coming back to us. They're coming back to join me for Massage Table Talk on February 13th. How fitting, right before Valentine's Day. So I will be releasing the schedule or letting you all know about next month's lives coming up so you can join in too. So without further ado, let's talk recovery. My guest today is Mr. Antoine Lyles. I met him actually on social media. I am not a social media stalker by any means, but when I officially started my massage therapy business and got a social media page, my business coach, the wonderful Tiffany Lyman, told me, well, you need to see what other massage therapists are putting out there on social media. And I'm like, okay. So she gave me some names of people I should look at and follow. And somehow I found Antoine. And then he was going by the Massage Beast. And so I was like, okay. So he does videos. And I'm not a video person. And you know, when I see other massage therapists do video and I see them just massaging their client, I'm like, okay, but that's not me. Like, you know, I'm thinking differently. But what I liked about Antoine is he's a before and after person. So he is a results oriented therapist. And that I can totally dig. Because I'm results oriented too. So I just don't see him massage his client. He shows a picture of what he's worked on before, and then he shows a picture afterwards and what the result of whatever therapeutic technique he used to get the muscle and the fascia to look like that. And I said, now that's what's up. So I was doing the 75 Hard Challenge in 2021, where you got to do 2 45-minute workouts each day for 75 days. And I knew I was going to put my body through the test. And I'm a massage therapist, and I know what massage therapy does for me. And I saw that he was in 2 states. Like, he would come here and he was in New Orleans. So he put out when he was coming to Maryland, and I DM'd him. I was like, you know, you got something for this day and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, we set up an appointment. And it's been hard for me to find a therapist. My clients say, you need someone like you. And I search and I can't find anybody like me. So when I had my session with Antoine, I was like, okay, this may work. So the next day I went to the gym, and I'm a big CrossFit fan. I love CrossFit. And when I could do overhead lifts, overhead push presses and squats, and everything felt loose, and I had better range of motion and better mobility, I said, okay, he's going to be definitely on the schedule for now on permanently. And I've been seeing him ever since. And that's probably been since 2021 or so. Now more regularly since he's in the DMV area a little more. Um, so that is how I got to know Mr. Antoine Lyles through social media. So social media connections do work for the good. But without further ado, I would like Mr. Lyles to tell us a little bit about himself, because only he can do it. He can do it better than I can. So, Mr. Lyles, tell these good people about you.
Well, my name's Antoine Lyles, and I've been in the fitness and recovery background for about 10 plus years now. And one of the things I noticed was the recovery aspect. At that moment, it was preach, but it was still foreign. And I wanted to be better at competing and how I trained in the gym. So I knew that I had to do something if I wanted to be better. My
All right.
background is my background is bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman, lifting, picking up cars, log pressing, rocks, all that crazy stuff, and
You know,
just anything that's extreme, pretty much.
and he says it with no like, yeah, that's
All
what
the
I
stuff that's
do.
going to tear your body up, that I'm all for it, and I'm all for the recovery part too. Because once I get my work done, I'm back better than ever, reaching bigger numbers and bigger gains in the gym and just overall in life.
So where are you from?
I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. Currently living in New Orleans.
Whoop 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 whoop. And so you said you've been doing this for 10 years. So what drew you to recovery therapy, muscle therapy, massage therapy? What kind of drew you to that? And you did it for yourself, but now what drew you to doing that and helping out others?
Well, I got two stories actually. The first one, I'll never forget waking up and my neck was hurting so bad on my way to work, to the point I was popping Tylenol just to get through. And I knew that I couldn't continue to do this forever and I needed to find a solution. And we had a massage therapist at the gym I trained at, and that's one of the things she preached. She was into recovery too. And I'm gonna say after my first session with her, I was sold on the entire massage thing. But what really did it was when I had injured myself and I had to use IASTM massage and deep tissue massage to get myself back in order. That was when I was really sold.
All right. Um, so what type of clients do you typically see and work on now?
I take everybody from your everyday gym goer, athletes who also compete in bodybuilding because I'll sculpt them, is which we would pretty much say. Power lifters, get them ready for their meets. Other fellow strongmen, your CrossFitters, your everyday worker, your auto mechanic, your hairstylist, nail technician, doctor, chiropractor, stay at home mom, you name it.
Look, I totally get it. Anybody that has some type of repetitive movement
Or
that ends
pain.
up, or yeah, or pain, right,
They will
right,
say
because
pain.
right,
Pain is when if you're in pain, that's when you call me.
right, right. And then I wonder, I tell you, what they say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Like
Hell
we
yes.
wait until that pain gets bad, and then I guess what kind of trips me out a little bit is, um, you know, they'll they'll come, clients will come because they're in pain, and they'll come for a session and feel good, and then don't see them for a little bit, and I know
Now
that
that you
one
mention that,
time
yeah,
did not, it was the band-aid. But just like when you're talking about training, um whether you're training powerlifting, crossfitting, my background is more endurance. Plus I love CrossFit. I really love CrossFit. But half marathoner, cyclist, CrossFitter. Um, but a lot of we train. So training is consistency. Um, and recovery is consistent work as well, not only to
exactly.
alleviate the pain, but also to prevent further injury. And that brings something to mind. I'm gonna pull it up on my phone. When I was on a local female race team, I was on. We have a local cycling group called Getting In Cyclists, and I was on their race team. And we had a coach, and we trained in 4-week blocks. And the last block was considered our recovery week. And it wasn't like you don't do nothing, it was considered active recovery week. And so I'm trying to pull up this audiobook. So one day I was in Audible, and I found a book that it really helped me think about recovery differently. And it's called Peak Performance. And it's by Brad Stulberg and Steve Magnus. Now, if you are not a results type of thought process person, this book may, especially if you're listening to it on Audible, it may be pretty boring. But what I found very ironic is when we're talking about change and transformation process, their equation is stress plus rest equals optimal performance. And they have a lot of data to back up why rest is important in training and putting your body through stress. Now, we always associate stress with something negative, but actually, everything that has growth capacity has to go through stress in order to change. So, we know in order for you to build muscle, you have to stress that muscle out. You have to get micro tears in that muscle. And it's the recovery process that bulks those tears up to be a lot thicker and a lot stronger, and for you to have bigger muscles.
Exactly.
Same thing with cycling. To become fast and to run, in the training process, you have speed drills, and that trains the fast twitch muscles. But when you train for endurance, the recipe is 80/20. So 80% of your training should be in zone 2 or more of the endurance to build up capillaries, which oxygenates the muscles. And then 20% of your training should be more of the higher intensity level training. But that 80% is considered the rest period of your training. And then the 20% is really that stress part of your training. So, like, and I would recommend, if you haven't really read any articles or any books or any research about why recovery is important, this book, Peak Performance, was a very, very good book. But
Eh,
rest recovery should always be in the equation if you're trying to grow. That's why we sleep too, right? God even rested on the seventh day, right? I mean, it's in the Bible.
That's one of the things my coach will always preach. He would say the best athletes have the best recovery. And back before I was in the recovery part heavy, he was his one of his things was one of his things would be become best friends with a deep tissue massage therapist because they're going to be your secret weapon in your training arsenal.
And
And he would
people,
even he would say if you can't afford them, see if you can borrow the training sessions with them. You'll train them for massages, but you definitely need that if you want to be perform at your best.
and Antoine and I know a lot about bartering because we barter services. Um, and I will tell you the funniest thing happens. Um, so I have a lot of clients who swear I torture them, and they say that, but once it's all over and done with, they feel a lot better and they go off and they go hit these streets and go be workout warriors, and they
Yeah,
can hit it hard. So,
we deliver the no pain no gain terminology. We really mean that.
right. And granted, I don't mean to make people wince and whimper, and I call it, I bring awareness. I'm a massage mechanic. So, you might take your car in and you might say, "Oh, I got an oil leak."
Yeah, that's
So they going to go under the hood. They're going to find the oil leak, and then they're going to call you, or they're going to email you with the price and the labor for the oil leak and a bunch of other recommendations. Well, when
yep.
you lay on my table, not only am I going to address the oil leak, but I'm going to give you awareness of those other recommendations, because your mind is on the pain point, but my mind is on everything connected
The
to
cause.
the pain point, is the underlying cause, because a lot of times that pain point is not the underlying cause, or that pain point is causing something else to be out of alignment. So a good massage therapist is not only going to give you the massage that you want, or to address the need that you want, but they're also going to give you the massage that you need. And that's going to be very important, because I have a lot of people that get up off my table and they say, I didn't know that bothered me until you touched it. Or
Yes, I get
I
that a
didn't know
lot.
that was an issue until you touched it. And now that I think about it, I think that's the where it started, and then this started hurt.
Or I enjoy the part when you teach them about their body, how things are connected and intertwined, and just because you feel the pain here doesn't mean it's here, and you get to teach them where the origin is of the pain
Hmm.
and where it's radiating through. So not only do they get a massage, but they leave more educated about themselves as well.
And I will tell you that it's been better because now I've been doing my homework, but the past couple times I've been on Antoine's table, I let him do what he do, and I normally end up snoring. Like, that's kind of my gauge. If you can't make me snore as a massage therapist, something ain't right, because that means your energy off. I'm not comfortable, or I don't know, something's just wrong, with your technique. But when I'm off to Never Never Land, um, on Antoine's table, I'll lay there, and then my mind starts telling me things. So I remember one time I was laying there, and my mom was like, "Kiani, your third and your fourth toe are a little bit, they cramped."
Right.
And I could feel it. I was like, "All right, it'll fix itself." Then my brain is like, "No, Kiani, they really stuck. Like, they stuck. They not moving." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna give it a minute." And then my mind is like, "Look, chick, you in pain. This hurts. You better wake up." And I woke up. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And you were on like my quad or like my hamstring or like something else. So the fascia and the bound fascia in my quad or wherever you were was connected all the way down to my toe.
Yeah, you was getting those connections back.
I was like, I need to do better. I said, I need to do better. I may have, I think I vividly recall maybe one or two times, saying a curse word or like,
I was doing restoration.
cause I was like, oof. So all my clients who I make wince and whimper on my table, Antoine gives you the payback because I go through it when I'm on his table. So I know what I make y'all do, but I know it's for the better. It's a necessary evil if you want to continue to be active and do what you do and love what you do and get out there and be great. That's all we trying to make y'all do is go out there and be great and understand that greatness requires some form of recovery.
And
So
then
let's
me, I'm different. I like intent. I like a lot of pressure. If you're gonna cuff me, make it the max. And if you're gonna scrape me, get in there.
I
Like
know.
I want to feel it. Don't just scrape me. Scrape me.
Yeah. And you got some scraping tools. You got more scraping tools than I do. So I come over there and I feel like I'm in the candy land with this with the scraping tools. I was like, oh, let me try that. Let me see what that's like. So
Yeah,
I try out your scraping tools on you. So let's talk about different types of recovery. And when should people um use these different types of recoveries? When should they not do it themselves? When should they involve someone like us? And how often they should involve someone like us in their recovery plan? So let's talk about massage. So massage is one type of recovery, and I think a lot of people just think massage is just for
luxury.
luxury, relaxation, spa, night night. Um, but it's far more than that. So what do you think about massage as a form of recovery?
I think it's necessary.
Now, do
Matter of
you
fact,
think deep tissue is always necessary?
it just depends on. I always like to ask the person what they do,
Hmm.
kind of like to get an idea of their lifestyle and the type of movements they make throughout the day, and I go kind of go from there, and I feel around, and if something needs to be worked, I work it. But I will say I do feel deep tissue is needed.
Okay, because I have a lot of people that come in and say they need deep tissue, but they really don't know what deep tissue is.
That's why I always ask, because I notice a lot of people I've met people who've never had massages as well, and they'll ask for deep tissue. So I'll say, well, okay, is this your first massage? And they'll say, yeah. And I'll say, hey, so what do you know about deep tissue? And if they don't know anything, I'll educate them first because I don't want you walking in think you're getting a Swedish massage or some light pressure, and you coming in to get body work,
Right.
not knowing, and then you're leaving. Well, what was that? That's not what I wanted.
Right. All right. So now you brought it up, body work. So body work is um different than massage, and I like to clump body work in under a category that many other um professionals can also do. So there's like body work is like overlapping because you got your chiropractors that do forms of body work. You have physical
Physical therapy.
therapists that do forms of body work. You have occupational therapists. I see your OT on
Yeah.
there. Um,
OT.
do forms of body work. Massage therapists do body work. Acupuncturists do body work. So body work crosses. Even athletic trainers do certain types of body work. So it kind of runs the gamut of professions. What I like about massage and body work is like when you go to a chiropractor, a physical therapist, an occupational therapist, they are quote unquote ordered to work on one part of the body. So like
Yep.
if you have an injury in your right shoulder, that's all you
That's it.
getting. You getting 15, 20 minutes. But be as a massage therapist, I know everything's connected. I'm not limited to where I work. So that's where I think massage and body work or massage therapist is more beneficial because I have more free range and I can do things like scraping, which many know as Graston's technique that physical therapists coined and did originally until the patent expired. Um, we can't do things like dry needling, but chiropractors, acupuncture. Well, acupuncturists really don't like they have a bigger scope than dry needling. But chiropractors do dry needling, physical therapists do dry needling. Do OTs do dry needling?
We can.
Okay. Um, Cupping. We all can do cupping. That's my favorite tool of all to use. What else? What else kind of other type of stretching? We all can do stretching. Um,
Foam rolling.
Foam rolling and using tools like foam rollers, compression, percussion. So we all can kind of use those things. But like I said, to me, I think the
Cryo's another one.
cryo, and heat, and
Yep.
heat. So, but like I think, therapists like, do you leave marks for cupping? So cupping. So if you are certified in cupping, as a massage therapist, there are many different ways to cup. Stagnant cupping or static cupping, stationary cupping, depending on how long you leave them on or how damaged the tissue is, depends on the extent of the marks left. I also do a technique called moving cups, and that doesn't leave marks because you're moving across the skin and the fascia in a quick back and forth motion, or I'm doing lifting and releasing. So no, cupping does not always leave marks. Um, so get Michael Phelps in the Olympics out your head with all those cupping marks. But that is a beneficial style of cupping as well. Even cupping that acupuncturists do, they do fire cupping. I get fire cup from my acupuncturist, and Antoine cups me as well.
And they
But
all some of them even put the needle on you to
yeah,
drain the
yeah.
cut to drain the blood out.
Oh yeah, hejima. So that's another type of cupping. We don't do that. I don't even think we do that in the United States. So there's certain practitioners, specialized practitioners that do that. But yeah, cupping is a great technique and I actually love it. Traditional Chinese medicine cupping, they leave those cups on sometimes for like 20, 30 minutes, because they're really trying to kind of freshen up the blood and get the
Toxins out.
toxins and stuff. Yeah. So okay, now you brought up cupping as a form of body work. Hey, how are you, Monique? So cupping. I know you like cups because you got cups.
Oh, I love cups.
Is there a particular part of the body that you like using cups more than others? Or that you won't even use? Like I use it all over. I use it on face, from your face to the bottom of your
Yeah, I use it all over, but I really like to get those traps.
All right. Yeah, I use
Traps and quads.
traps and quads and calves.
Calves, yeah, too.
You've torn my calves up before with the cups.
I
I've
like
that was, I had a brain moment. I remember
I
a
like using the
traumatic brain
scraper on the
experience.
calves though.
Huh?
I
Yeah,
said I
you
like
do.
using the scraper on the calves.
Yeah,
That's
but
really effective.
yes, it is for those big muscle groups. Okay, so now you talking about scraping. So let's talk about scraping, scraping, gua sha, Grastons, all of that is tool work. A hand scraping tool. I know you love scraping because you got several scraping tools. I got the steak knife, which is my medical stainless steel, surgical stainless steel, and then I have my gua jade stone, and I also have a wood scraping tool. So I kind of, depending on the tissue and depending on the person, depends on what I use. But you straight metal, you straight rock and roll.
I used to have the I used to have granite and marble, but
I
I'm
don't see them.
clumsy. I'm
Oh, you
clumsy,
broke it.
and
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
they
they
fell
are
and broke.
easy. I've gone through several stones. Do you name your tools? Because I got names for my tools.
I don't
Yeah.
have any names, but when I turn them over and they get a look at them, you can come up with your own name.
I name my tools. So my clients know my tools by name. If you want to know the name, you come see me. And then that's when you find out the name of my tools.
They know when I'm grabbing tools when they hear
Right.
that clink clink, that clink clink.
Oh yeah, the metal tools. I have some clients where most I do try to inform my clients when I'm using a tool, and especially if they're a regular client. And if you're my client, you gonna get all my tools at one point in time. I'll take it easy on you the first time, but I gotta use the necessary tool in my toolbox to get the job done, and it's not always my hands. And I think a very prudent and good massage therapist would use tools because it saves our hands. And massage therapists have a very short lifespan in this industry if all they use is their hands.
Yeah.
So tools are very prudent to use to save your body, but also if you really are into what you're doing and really helping the client and their needs, certain tools grip the tissues and get in better than your hands. So
They
like
push those fibers apart in
right,
ways your fingers can't.
right. And I can't see not using a tool, especially if you're doing what I call therapy or therapeutic work. Even my clients that really just kind of come for relaxation, they get my tools. And I have some of them that they like, you're not using your cups today? And I'll be like, you don't need it today. And they be
Right.
like, I thought I was getting cups. So those clients, I just give them cups, all the time. It makes them feel better, and then it makes me feel better that they feel better. So they always getting cups. And then I'll use my gua sha tool on. I love using it on forearms. So you like scrape. I love scraping forearms because a lot of people are on computers and working from home, and they're like this all the time. So they don't realize how involved their extensors and flexors of their forearm in that repetitive motion and mousing in their palms. I love using the scraping, so I'll use it, and I think they're out, and they look up like, what's that? What you using? So I love introducing clients to me. I'm like, oh, that feels good. So I love taking the fear factor out of using tools because as Iris said, people think cups always leave marks, but they don't. So I like educating them.
And another thing I do, I educate them about the tools too, because like how you like elbows, I like the feet because a lot of people have flat feet, so they have plantar fasciitis issues,
Boom.
and that's one of my biggest targets. When the feet are good, the whole body's usually good because then you think of ankle mobility, looser calves. If your calves are loose, your knee, if the feet are loose, the knees will even stop hurting.
But also your feet. So when you come to me, you gotta let me know ahead of time. If you don't want me mess your hair, because some women come in, even if you got a wig, I am, whether the wig is on or off, I'm massaging your scalp. So people don't realize we got muscles in our scalp,
Right.
in the back of our neck. So I will always massage your scalp and your feet. Your feet are the two things that are in contact with the earth every day. Like to me, me doing feet helps me to ground people, not as well as address plantar fasciitis. I really like working on clients with plantar fasciitis. We're not supposed to diagnose as massage therapists, but plantar fasciitis is palpable, clear as day, clear as day. So I'll put the little,
And not
suggest.
just that, but when you work feet, one of the things I noticed about what got me into feet was my coach. And he would have me rolling my feet before training. And I noticed that when my feet were loose, my training was better.
Right.
I was more grounded. I was
Mhm.
more balanced.
Yep.
I was so
And also for running. So I'm a runner, and you got to realize too, people don't realize that their Achilles, um that attaches. So every muscle has a origin and insertion, and the Achilles attaches, right under that heel. That's why, and then the plantar fascia attaches there as well. But the big toe flexion for
Yes.
runners is very important because your big toe is your springboard.
That's
So,
like that's like one of the most important features of your balance.
right. So, and your plantar fascia goes, attaches all the way up there as well. So like if I'm working on the foot, you better believe I'm getting it, and you like feet and big toes too. I'd be like, damn, is he ever gonna stop scraping that toe?
That big toe, because you gotta. People don't understand. You walk on your feet so much that
Right.
listen. The body's crazy. The body will build bone spurs. It will
Yes.
build extra muscle and cartilage just to protect itself.
Protect.
And
Right.
you gotta break that stuff down
Right.
so you can have good blood flow and good balance in your
Good
chi,
balance. Good all of that.
all that good stuff.
The body keeps the score, y'all. The body keeps the
Think
score.
about it. You a lot of us, if you haven't had a massage ever, you've been doing yourself a disservice, especially if you're on your feet a lot, especially with that.
Yes. So okay, we had two people comment. Monique, yes, you should try cups. I think anybody who is active, I don't care what sport you are in, or if you're just,
You could be your everyday
you need
hairstylist. You could be a
you
makeup
need to
artist.
try cups. And then Nona, you have arthritis in your left big toe. So arthritis is one of those tricky things. It's either strict pain management, depends on what type of arthritis you have. If your arthritis is bone on bone, I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
it's really like
that's hard.
it's hard because there is nothing a massage
There,
any type of therapist can
there's
really
no
do to
cartilage.
improve, your synovial fluid, your cartilage, everything in between the bones is disintegrated, so nothing is there. So it's just, you know pain pain management, and actually the best thing is movement. I know having arthritis affects your movement, but lack of movement makes it worse. So it's just kind of comfort measures for bone on bone arthritis, unless you're going to get surgery. I really don't. I have a lot of clients that get injections. They get the new hyaluronic acid gel injections, which is supposed to improve the synovial fluid, or they get the cortisone injections. Yeah, it worked the first couple times, but after a
And then
while,
it's like a band. All
it's
that
a
stuff is a
band-aid.
band aid.
It's not correcting anything. And also, um, you don't realize it, but those chemicals sometimes crystallize in your tissue and they stay there. And it kind of makes matters worse, so to speak.
That's the same thing when I would meet guys in the gym, and they would get cortisone shots, and let's say their neck or something that's really tight. And before then, I would recommend, hey, you should just go get a sports massage or a deep tissue massage before you go that route. And they would question me and say, well, what is that supposed to do? To make a long story short, after they would get it, they would end up back in the same situation
Right,
where they started.
right. So Nona, you said it's not bone on bone, but you're doing toe bends, yes. So there are other stretches, I would say, that help with big toe flexion and movement. You can roll it. There's a lot of different things that
Get
you
a
can do.
spiky massage ball. A spike massage ball will help with that as well.
Yeah, we can give you some suggestions, offline. And arthritis is one of those things that, it ain't gonna hurt to throw every holistic type of measure you can at it before you're faced with having to do something invasive, like surgery. What is very good for, also something is very good for, if you stand on the edge of and it's going to help also with your calves, because Nona, you're a runner, um, is to stand on the edge of the steps and do kind of those, you know, heel raises, calf raises. But the and so you're going to, and you want to put most of the pressure on the big toe. It's hard to demonstrate, but you want to put most of the pressure on the big toe as you're going up, and then make sure that heel um, goes lower than parallel on the steps
It's
to
going to
get a
feel
nice
crazy,
sweat.
but it's working.
Huh?
I said it's going to feel crazy, but it's working.
But it's working, and consistency is key. I cannot emphasize that um anymore. You can't do it one time. You got to keep doing it. Okay.
Do it every
Hey,
night if you
Destiny,
can.
how are you? You said, what's the best recovery method to start with if someone has never had a recovery session before? Massage.
Well, when you get on my table, I'll explain what the issue that's going on with your body, and I'll let you know the measures we're going to have to take to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends
And
on what type of recovery. So you're talking
so
about
we can start
recovery,
with cups. Yeah. That's a good question. What type of recovery are you talking about?
right? Are you because of your yoga? Because shoot, yoga is a recovery method, if
Right.
you
That's
ask
that's
me.
stretch. That's stretching to
And
us.
mobility.
Yes.
You said I do my calf raises that way. I know what. Okay, no, I understand and see that I'm doing. Yeah, you're doing the right things. Yes, you are, Nona. And Tanya, you got arthritis everywhere, Tanya. Bone on your knees, toe, knee. Oh, poor baby.
Has she ever tried infrared therapy?
Tanya, you ever try infrared therapy? I've been thinking about getting an infrared blanket actually.
They legit.
Everywhere, arthritis everywhere.
Yeah, they legit. Oh.
Well, maybe that is something you should try. What about so infrared therapy, it's a light therapy. You know, if you ever join Planet Fitness
It
and they
heals you
talk,
from the inside out.
it's a the body, yes, like the sun, like the red sauna blanket. Yes, so it helps more with relaxation. I mean, it goes down to the cellular level, you know. And that's what people, I guess I would like people to understand more that our body heals from the inside out. And sometimes what you see on the outside of your body, especially your skin, um, it's a reflection of what's going on in the inside of your body.
And sometimes it's your nutrition as well.
Yes, big time, big time, big time, big time. Yes, nutrition is very important because nutrition also goes down to the cellular level. You got to realize we we are a machine. I mean, we're humans, but we are a machine. I mean, computers are built after the human brain. You know, they're building robots after the human form. So like we are the prototype. And it's our cells, each individual cell that makes us up. And each cell has to be nourished and supplied with the right things to do things. You have muscle cramps because sometimes your electrolytes are off. Your electrolytes need to
Yep.
be with a certain balance. You have muscle pain because your electrolytes are off. So electrolytes are important. All that goes down to the cellular level. So your body is a real big intricate organism, and you only get one. You know, you can buy a new car, you know, you can buy a new cell phone, but you can't buy a new body, which is why it's important for you to take care of it, which is important why if you're going to put your body through all of these uh heavy lifting, endurance sports, you really need to recover properly. All right,
I
let's talk
always
about,
say
go ahead.
I always say the body's discomfort from pain is normally your check engine light.
Right. Yes. Check engine light. All right, let's talk real quick about stretch and mobility because they are two different things. And I think people's thought is that recovery is stretch. Recovery is more than stretching. Um, and mobility incorporate stretching, but mobility is a lot is joint work too. So stretching is more like, to me, more muscle work. Mobility is the whole kind of gamut, you
Like a
know,
massage
of it
ball
all.
in the mix.
Right, right. And I think people should think more of mobility than just stretch. Um, as far as stretch and mobility, what is your preference to do before working out or after working out?
I do them before I work out, and I do after.
You're such a good
If
DB.
now that's just going through a lot of trials and tribulations on my fitness journey that I had to learn the hard way. So now I do it. So in the future, so now and going into the future, I don't have those same issues as I did back then. Before I didn't warm up, I didn't stretch, I didn't do anything, and I could never understand why I was so strong, but my range of motion would be off. And the more and more I got into it, and the understanding of the recovery part, how they both blend together, uh, everything became
Damn.
better because my muscles could stretch further and produce more
Right,
power versus
right,
having a shorter range of motion and
right,
producing less power.
right. And that's why, so recently I've kind of switched things up, and I do mobility work before I work out because I get a fuller range of motion. And when you get a fuller range of motion, you get to work the muscle through its entire contraction, concentric and eccentric sequence. And that's where you're going to get your biggest gains if you can um, do your strength training and get the full range of motion instead of a shorter range of motion, because you can also so damage um, and lose strength and power by not doing the full range of motion. I actually, and then it makes me feel like I'm more consistent with doing it before I work out. So I guess the take home message for me or
Uh,
anybody else is do it when you can do it most consistently.
so
Because
I
when
would
I'm
say
done,
if
I'm
if you
done.
if you can't if you got to do it at home, just put on the Netflix, whatever you watch, pull out your foam roller, whatever, and just do your thing. You can sit on the floor for an hour or whatever while you watch a movie and get it done. Multitask.
So what about foam rolling? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up. You should.
Okay.
I have several types of foam rollers. I use them all.
I will say I hate the foam roller, but the reason why my third and fourth toe don't move no more is because you made me aware that my quads and my IT band and my TFL were tight AF. So
Yeah, and on the foam roller, legs suck.
they do.
Especially if you get the foam roller with the nubs in it, which it
Oh,
feels like knuckles which feels like knuckles,
mm-hmm.
and you do your legs. That's agony.
So I have the hardest time getting the right pressure on my calves when I foam roll. I don't really feel like I'm doing much. So
Take
what
a take
other, a
take a
ball, like
weight,
maybe a ball?
take a weight and put it on top of your leg, but don't just. I'm not gonna say just drop it on there, but kind of just hold it on your leg and it'll push into it. If you're in the gym, use the edge of a barbell.
That don't sound fun.
It's not supposed to be fun.
Mm,
Do you want to see results or do you want to have it easy?
I don't know.
It's either
I
you
think
want to be able to squat comfortably or you want to sit down and take your time while doing it. Your choice.
I'll think about it. All right,
Either
compression, percussion. What you think? What you think about
percussion. I like percussion when I'm in the gym, especially before I'm getting ready to train,
warm
or
up the
if
muscles?
yeah, to warm up the muscles, or if I've been massaging all day or doing body work all day long, it's really good for that too. Because you know, I'll be sitting and work with our hands. It's good to use it on your forearms and your hands just to push that blood through and get you some range of motion and stimulation in your forearms and hands.
You know what I'm finding that I like to use a percussion gun on? Uh, plantar fasciitis.
That's really, yeah, it's really good for that too. I use
So
that. I use it. I do the ball on my feet, and I use that right after. That's
so
like the
I have
icing on the cake.
recommended. I've had some of my clients. They like the results so much just from me using it on their PF that they have gone and bought like the Theragun Mini, and they use it consistently in between coming to see me, and we have shortened the recovery or the time frame, the healing time frame of their plantar fasciitis, because that can last for months.
Or just have one in your house when you get up from sleeping all night and your body been laying in that one position all night, no movement, no blood flow, nothing. You know how sometimes you wake up all stiff and you can't move and things like that. That's a perfect time to use it.
Yeah. And I don't even own a gun. I might have to get one for home. Compression boots.
Those I like those too.
So I have,
Those are really good for people who are diabetic as well.
yes, they're actually good for people who have any type of
Blood flow
swelling,
issues.
backing, backup circulation in their legs, not just for athletes. So I recently invested in a pair of compression boots, and I've actually used it. I actually used it on a gentleman who has PVD, peripheral vascular disease, and he has a non-healing ulcer that he's had for 20 years. 20 years. He's had nursing therapy come and do wound ostomy care nurses come and do changes on his legs for probably, it's gotten worse probably the last 3 years. And they used ACE bandage compression because that's a type of compression, but they've never used compression boots. And his family member is a client of mine, and she actually saw my email about the my compression boots being a new service, and she was like, they just said that he needs to be in a pair of moon boots, and do you think I can bring him so you can put him in your boots? And he loved them. He loved them so much. And I said, that's something you can do at home. You can put them on for 20 minutes a day because the nurse only comes like once or twice a week
And he probably
to
gets
change
up
his
and
bandage.
walks, probably eases his pain, makes
Mm-hmm.
him more mobile.
Yep. So they are going to see if the insurance, the durable medical equipment, will cover for him for a pair of compression boots. So compression boots are very good for recovery. I did it at a cycling event, had a little table, and you can get them on Amazon. You can get a cheap pair, you can invest in an expensive pair, but I think it's definitely worth an investment. That and a gun and foam rollers and knobby stuff. Um, what is your favorite body part to massage or to work on?
Neck and traps,
Neck and traps,
hamstrings.
hamstrings, neck
I'm just
traps.
gonna say that all the big muscle groups. Oh yeah, and the piriformis.
Yes.
So I'm gonna say
Piriformis,
so I'm
SI
gonna say
joint.
glutes when I got my elbow on there and I'm stretching you all at the same time.
I
Eh,
think
eh,
the glutes are probably the most underrated, underworked body part in recovery.
Yep.
Y'all just don't understand how important your glutes are. Your whole
Listen, I love when someone tells me they have lower back pain and they'll tell me their pain is in their lower back.
back,
And I'm
right?
trying to explain to them it's coming from either your glutes or your hamstrings.
Strings.
And they'll no, it's in my back. I'm trying to like trust me here.
Your glutes, your piriformis, your hamstrings, your hip girdle. I mean, it can even come from your oh darn.
Your iliac?
Yeah, what's the muscle in the front? I'm forgetting. I'm doing a brain fart. Psoas,
Oh yeah,
iliopsoas,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So ash, yeah.
psoas. Now that y'all, Monique, you said glutes and all that kind of stuff hurt. Now when that
And your
iliopsoas,
and your hip adductors.
your hip adductors, like all of that stuff. See, I like rotational joints. So I like knees, I like elbows, I like shoulders. I like the hip girdle, but because of our private area and private parts, sometimes it's not always a comfortable area to work. Now, clients who understand that back pain and that it's coming from that SI joint, because the people have a lot of weak SI joints.
Yep.
A lot of, and so, and also people don't realize, they think
Don't
that
forget
when their
about the
muscle
QLs too.
QLs too, right, right. So a lot of people also, I jumped off the table with flute massage. I don't even know what flute massage is. I never heard of that before, Monique. Um, but a lot of people say, "Oh, my muscles are tight," but when I work on them, a lot of people have muscle imbalances. So it's not really that muscle is tight. Like, yes, the source of your pain is coming from the tight muscle, but it's because either the opposite or opposing muscle is weak, or the other leg is weak and one leg is stronger. So, like, correcting muscle imbalances could also really help your pain. You
Especially if
know,
you're dominant on one side.
right, right,
I've got that a lot. A person might be right side dominant, and they're trying to figure out why they have more pain on one side than the other side.
right. Because you got to realize, like, when you're training, a lot of times you're training both muscles at the same time. So you never really understand that that stronger side is really taking more of the weight. So doing unilateral stuff to help strengthen the weak side is very, very important, especially like for runners and cyclists, because we're always doing this. It's always, one leg, the other leg, one leg, the other leg. So one leg is always the forward moving leg, the power generating leg, and we don't realize that the leg needs some help. It's not until you do, like, when cycling, we do one-legged drills, and you like, oh my gosh, I ain't realized, that leg, is a lazy leg, doesn't do much. So that's where strength training, like strength training, is a very good source of pain management, especially if you have muscle imbalance. And a very important, training muscle imbalances will also better your overall performance, because now you have two legs, arms, whatever, working together optimally. So strength training is also something that I think a lot of people, especially endurance athletes, don't really take,
Utilized.
right, utilize, and don't see it as important, because they're just, it's the cardio part is working, the fitness part is working, but you need strength and power to get through, to endure. And as the African proverb says,
Longevity.
right, go, if you want to go fast, you go alone, but if you want to go farther, you go together. So that means if you want to go farther, you need to make sure both, all your muscle groups are going together. If you want to go farther, you need to make sure you have therapists on your side to help you improve your performance, help you get gains. If you have a coach, they help you go farther, and therapists, such as Antoine and myself, adding us to your training plan, will help you go farther. Anybody can go fast, but you can't go fast and far, unless you have, um,
A team.
a team approach. Right? You can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. Um, a few more things before we wrap up. What about recovery for youth athletes? Do you see teenagers? Do you see
Yeah.
you
I see a lot of them coming, getting more into recovery, more so, more now because it's more of a thing now. It's more, it's promoted more. So
right,
you're starting to see more teenagers get that because they want to see better results. And with the knowledge that we have today, you're going to have less injury versus back then. You had it, but we didn't have the resources to really get it.
right.
Kind of like now we got Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff. But
Social
before
media.
then, unless you knew somebody or you read about it and or you saw it somewhere, you didn't know about it, and you wouldn't have
Yeah,
believed anyone if they told you it worked.
right. Yeah. Oh, you said, oh, glute massage. You jump off the table with glute massage, Monique. Yeah, yeah. And people don't realize that is a central area. Yep, crowd therapy helps too. Yep, Nona, doing those single leg calf raises, you can, and consistently doing them, might I add, you can increase the stabilization in that weaker leg. What age do you start seeing youth athletes?
Well, for me, I started at 16, but I've had them as young as like 13.
Okay, yeah. I normally start 15, 16 too. Um, and
That's a
I
rare occasion.
actually, if you are a parent and you have
Yeah,
a youth athlete, I'm going to say it is very beneficial for you to, especially if, I mean, I have a athlete now. He plays football and basketball, and he's had some injuries and he's tight. We think that our kids, because they're young, they're resilient and their body will bounce back quicker, but injury has no age limit on it. And actually, they're putting their body through more of a test. So it is very important. I've seen gymnasts. I have a current client who brings her son and he does squash, um, soccer. So I've seen youth athletes, ballet dancers. Um, so I've seen the gamut of them playing involved in different activities and sports, and I applaud the parents who recognize that they as well need recovery because a lot of them do this into college, and that repetitive stress and damage over and over is just compound interest in an injury that'll
and that's
eventually
normal.
come.
And normally, how that happens, a lot of times the check engine light be on, but kids are so resilient, they could be in pain and be like, "I'm good, coach. I'm good. I don't need nothing,"
Right,
and go out there ACL tear.
right.
Don't know what happened. Don't know what happened. What?
And mess up their future. Mess up their future. I actually last year this time I trained in a specific form of stretch called sport stretch, and Christy, the one who the owner of Sport Stretch and who developed the technique, she actually we trained on um, NFL draft prospects. They were going to the combine, so they had already got selected to go to the combine, and like they worked out twice a day. They were on a specific regimen,
Regimen,
and they would get
and they
body
had to
work.
get recovery.
Yep, they would get stretched twice a day. So I'm very happy that there's some the NFL recognized the importance of this of the Christie's program, and athletes. I think baseball and football athletes now and MMA because there were MMA fighters at the gym as well, and we would work on them that they recognize that. But I think it needs to start even younger, like high school teens need to have more therapists, muscle therapists,
If
massage
your kid
therapists.
play any, if your kid playing sports, get them therapy.
Right. It is going to be very beneficial. All right, last thing. Um, any products that you would recommend people to use at home for recovery, like any types of creams, oils, lotion, CBD, anything like that?
Uh, I just use cups. I'll scrape myself. I mean, it just depends because I have the strength for it, so I'll put myself through the pain.
So no rubs. You don't have no rubs you can recommend?
CBD's always good.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of
I got I
CBD.
got I got a couple clients who like the THC. I don't know. It just depends. I got a couple clients that love that.
Right,
They
right.
provide it though.
Yeah.
Uh, lavender oil is always good.
I know
Lavender mixed with some jojoba.
well, I like your oils. I had to look that up. I was like, "Ooh, I like that. I like the smell. The winter, the fire, the earth.
Oh yeah.
That's what caught me. And then they black on too. I was like, okay. I haven't ordered it yet, but I was like, yeah, I'm stealing that. I'm stealing that. I'm stealing that. I'm stealing that. All right, y'all. We are going about to end, but Antoine has given us some touch points to end with. So these are some key things that he wants to leave with you for best recovery. The priority number one is sleep. So get as much sleep as you can. Here, you go through your own touch points. Can you see them?
Oh. Yeah, I can see him. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I was letting you talk, but it's cool. I
I can talk. I can
listen,
talk.
listen, listen. Sleep. I prioritize sleep. That's the number one thing. Your body, matter of fact, your brain, your central nervous system, your muscular system, but mainly your central nervous system. That's what you really want to focus on. That cannot recover and make you cannot recover and perform at your best without sleep. Move around throughout the day so your body don't remain stiff. Don't stay sedentary. Get up, walk around. If it's a nice, just make it your business to be active and mobile.
I
Drink
look, I
plenty.
put in neat. I put the neat in there, the non-exercise activity thermogenesis.
I
So
like
that,
that. I like that.
that
I'm gonna
vacuuming.
steal that.
See?
Drink plenty of water. A lot of people aren't hydrated. Most people are dehydrated. Foam roll, which we already talked about. Invest in a massage ball, round or spike. The spiked one is really good for getting into those areas with joints, shoulder, let's say shoulder joints, toe joints, especially hands, and assisted stretch. You can do that with another person. I personally, use weights with do my assisted stretch, and that's it.
That's it. That's it. How many hours of sleep you get?
On a good day, 10. On a bad day, at least 7. It
Huh?
used to be 4. It used to be 4 to 6, but
Oh, oops. Sorry
it
about
used
that.
to be 4 to 6 hours of sleep. But the minute I learned about the importance of sleep and recovery, I made it the number one thing to always get that. I don't care what the circumstance
Ten,
is.
how you get 10 hours of sleep? What time you go to sleep?
Sometimes it just depends.
Is it
I'm
past your
a
bedtime now? Is it past your bedtime? I keep you up past your bedtime?
Not today,
Because
but
I know you in the
normally,
gym at 5 o'clock.
yeah. But say that normal on gym days, I'm in bed by like 8 o'clock.
Mm,
Some 7 is even better.
you
On
disciplined.
non gym days, I'm in bed by like 10 or 11.
You disciplined. Mm. More power to you. More power to you. I want to be like you one day. I want to be like you one day.
Hey, you gotta make it important. It even extends your lifespan. So we ain't just talking about the body, but we talking about overall just living longer.
Longevity,
Yeah. So all of this goes together. Massage is all that longevity.
recovery, longevity, cellular turnover,
All of that good stuff.
all that good stuff. All that good stuff. Well, Mr. Antoine, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on tonight and spreading your knowledge.
Thanks for
February is
having me.
coming up. When is your schedule open so I can make
I
one
you
next?
know I got you. I'm gonna send it out. I'm gonna send the schedule out to y'all.
Okay, his I kind of messed up the slide. I'll put it up there real quick, but our faces are gonna go. I messed the slide up, but here is his you can get him. He's on Instagram at Lyles_muscle therapy. That's where you can find him. On social media. Check him out. You can see all his workouts. You can see he posts videos of all that heavy crap. I'm gonna have to come train with you one day. All
Hey,
that
you more
heavy
than
stuff
welcome.
that he lifts and stuff. He make it look easy. He make it look real easy, like it's a feather. But all right, yes, get that schedule out. Next week, like I said at the beginning, massage table talk all next month because it's Love Month is going to be about touch, not massage touch, but we could talk a little bit about that. But touch and relationships. I have different guests. Coach Ben and Coach Deanna will be back. Y'all had a lot to ask when they were on. So come out on February 13th if y'all not doing anything for Valentine's Day. But they will be here Monday 13th. And then I have a client conversations at the end of the month. So I have two clients who are couples. They both come to see me for massage therapy. So we're going to talk about touch and how they use touch separately and together to strengthen their relationship. Um, and working on another guest. I have to figure out who I want that to be, but Stay tuned for that. And I think I might have a challenge for y'all next month around touch. So I'll be announcing that either tomorrow or Wednesday, which is February 1st. So um, good night. Thanks for joining. And I will see y'all next Monday on February 6th.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.